join us in this little series where we turn these fine specimens, Jaguar S-types, into drift cars. Right, step one, turns out we've got to fix it before we can play with them, so let's get the bonnets up. Ready? No. You know what you're doing, don't you? No. You've done this before.
What's a bonnet?
What's a bonnet? It's a hood! It's a hood if you're in America land. Let's do it. So, plan. Wound the diff. Yeah. Turns out now, fix the cooling system. Hydraulic handbrake. Maybe we'll check out the steering and suspension, see if we can get some more lock out of it. Chop the springs or whatever we can. Alright. So yeah, let's find the coolant leads, get them on the ramp and see where we're at, shall we?
What have you done, man? What are you doing?
You broke it already.
What? I'll turn it off and I'll put it in park. No. Alright, take it all the way up, pull the key out. Yeah, shock it. Ah, you're not said this, side, you clown.
Look at his wallet. He said he has put a car on the ramp only yesterday. Hey, you helped find the leak though. It's peeing out coolant at that corner. Well, oh dear. How many legs does a dog have, Dave? Three. Well, this one should have 4. Okay, albeit I started to put that side on and then I got distracted because he's broke the car. It's going well. It's going very well indeed. So all we have now is 2 broken S-types, one that doesn't start, and a car half on the ramp. Hey! It works! Hi guys, welcome to another video at Wraptor Customs. You're watching episode 2 of Let's Build a Drift Car. We take these 2 rockin' retro S-type Jaguars and turn them into full-blown drift cars. If you haven't watched episode 1, you can by all means check out our YouTube channel, go back and watch that. But for now, here's a quick refresh. So today, me and the lads are building 2 S-type drift cars, and it's going well. We broke both of them. One didn't start, both got coolant leaks, and one's half on, half off the ramp. Wish us luck for the rest of it, won't you? I don't see anything wrong with that. That back corner's nice and high. This one's lower. I can only presume that was deliberate. Yeah, there we are.
Accidental purpose.
Accidentally on purpose. Is this what they call like a stance, is it? We're doing things and stuff like building drift cars and things and stuff. Oh no. Oh no.
And that just popped.
Oh no? More oh no?
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh no. Right, top advice to everyone, don't buy an S-Type as a drift car, they both break before you even start doing anything. it's a bargain, but then we're probably going to spend as much on a radiator as we paid for the car now before we even get started. So I've removed the under tray and I've thrown that in the bin because that's never going back on. Lightweight, and we want this quick and easy to work on like at the track. And well, just look at the state of that. When I bought this was like pretty mint, and now there's just coolant everywhere. It's a bit oily as well. It's not the end of the world, but it's not ideal either. Nice. This too. Engine cover, any plastics and stuff, don't want it. Want it quick and easy to work on and as lightweight as possible. So, there we are. That's near the bin for later. You know what, I think it looks better without it. Check this out. Now, I'm looking at an actual engine. That's fine with me. I don't understand all these covers. I guess it gives it a little bit of sound deadening, but it doesn't help with heat escape. And ultimately, you open the bonnet, you're looking at some plastic. Personally, I like to see what an engine looks like. It's not looking good. So, I was about to pressure test the cooling system to try and find the leak. I've poured water in the top, no need for a pressure tester. It's just coming straight out the bottom. Where's it coming from? I think I have to remove some of this piping so I can see down there. Aha! Well, I found mine, guys. It's gushing out of the thermostat. Is that cracked, the metal? So I think that there is the thermostat, and I can see it's just gushing out right there. Is that cracked aluminium? Because I could weld that now and it'd be fixed.
Yeah, it is.
You understand? It's got a little pinhole. Can you see it? Right next to the thread.
Mm-hmm.
There we are. It's coming out of that thing. Right there. Okay, I'll take this off. See what I can do with it. I can see it now. It's got a crack all the way around it. Mm-hmm. That's very odd, isn't it? I expected
Looks like it's been like that a while though.
Well, I expected like a seal gone or maybe a cracked bit of plastic, but I didn't expect a cracked aluminium housing. But there we are. Is it the age of the car? So it's not that old, really. 06, 18 years. Old. It's not as old as you, Fudgekins.
I'm not that old.
How old's that beard? How long have you been working
27.
on that? 27 minutes knowing you?
Seconds,
Since
mate. As soon as the shave comes back.
You're going to put some plaits in it?
Yeah.
Tomorrow I want some plaits in it, or a French moustache.
Do you want a David plate?
Yep, whatever one of them is, we'll go for one of them, thanks. Don't let me down, I'm not a tire. There we are, Bodgkins, you got it?
Yeah, hairline
Found
fracture.
it? Hairline fracture, okay. So let's see if we can successfully clean it up, TIG it up with our new TIGging skills. Let's get TIGgy with it. Yep. Oh, it is the thermostat. Solid aluminium thermostat. Don't get that these days, do you? They're flipping plastic. Well, usually plastic is rubbish because, you know, it's cheaply produced, but it doesn't last long, right? You think aluminium one would like last forever, but there we are. It has not. Has not last forever. It's a bit of a shame, isn't it?
You own it.
Oh, yeah, my name's Bodgkins. Anyway, let's. Here it is. That's the thermostat. So it's a valve that stays shut when cold, and when the engine's up to temperature, it opens and then allows the coolant to flow around. Basically makes your car warm up to normal operating temperature quicker. But the housing has failed, corroded and cracked. So, I don't know, it could be age, or it could be the fact that it's been sat there for 6 months, done nothing, and then we've used it, and it's just cracked due to, like, temperature change or what have you. It's got Jaguar part. It's got Ford part numbers on it, look. Ford. Now, interestingly, this is the same engine they use in the Mondeo ST220, that has 220 horsepower. This has 241, but they also use this base in the Noble cars, not all of them, but a lot of them. 3-litre Ford V6 engine, and then they turbo it and get hundreds, many hundreds of horsepower out of it. So that is our ambition one day. As long as we can get this car set up so it looks cool and drifts really nicely, then we'll probably go next stage and see if we can turbo and custom tune this car. I don't know of any turbo kits available for these, so we're just going to have to like make our own. But hey, future vid, that one. Right, let's clean this thing up, ready for welding. There we are, bolt removed and stripped down a bit, all cleaned up, and now you can really see the extent of the crack. I'm going to try and weld that up now with the TIG welder that's suitable for welding aluminium. Now this probably isn't going to be the cleanest aluminium to weld, so yeah, wish me luck with that. We'll see how we do. Yes, no, there's a hidden bolt here. You can get to it by a little gap here somewhere. Use a torch, long extension. If you don't want to put it back in again, no one cares. Okay, it's not a customer vehicle. It is a send it and bend it vehicle. Bondo. Bondo. You don't want to bond it. Oh, just like, well, if we have like 4 bolts holding the bumper on, it's going to be easy to work on rather than 8 million, isn't it? That's kind of the idea. A lot of them as well, they just have those no bolts and then the clips on the corner with a big rubber strap or a cable tie on the drift cars, because they're always getting the bumper smacked, so yeah. Right, we found the culprit of the blue one. The rad is cream cracked. So we've got a new one. It also cools the gearbox, so these lines here, those threaded holes, are actually pipes that go to the gearbox to cool that. So it's the engine radiator and gearbox cooler in one. New rad was 200 quid, so all things considered, I don't think that was too bad. But now that means already that car's not cost us 300 quid, it's cost us 500 quid. We haven't been drifting yet. The price is going up. Right, Paulina Aguilera over here, which is definitely his real name. Adam, he's had an idea doing some more mods to the cooling system while it's all apart, and I think we're going to remove the thermostat just in case that's the reason why the rad blew in the first place. But also we're going to be high revs, fairly low speed drifting actually, so we're not going to get the airflow through the rad to cool it. And not only that, the car's not going to be going in a straight line most of the time, it's going to be going sort of diagonally, right? So we're just not going to get the same amount of flow through the rad. So to aid the cooling, we decided we're going to remove the thermostat now. So left to do, we've got to finish stripping the blue one, and then that's ready for a little practice to see if it drifts. The red one, we're going to go a little bit more on that. We've got to strip that, and it needs front and rear brake pads. We've got a sticky front left brake caliper to deal with, and we're going to go a bit more because we've got the hydraulic handbrake to install. We may go a little bit lower, we may go a little bit wider with the geometry, and I want to play with the steering geometry to see if we can get faster responding steering and more steering lock. Got a couple of ideas, let's see if I can execute them. So I'm trying to order a hydraulic handbrake, and I've just gone to Amazon because I want one like tomorrow, right? And like it's all pretend stuff. Look, it's Sims Simulator Racing USB hydraulic handbrakes. That one, USB. USB. That's for a push bike. Those are some hydraulic components, but I need the whole hydraulic handbrake. USB. USB. Look, I've searched for hydraulic handbrake. That's what I want. Has the world gone really boring? Like we don't actually go out and do stuff anymore. We just do it as a simulator. Simulated girlfriend next, you know. Ugh. No thanks. We're going drifting. Real drifting. Not simulator drifting. Not radio controlled car drifting. Actual drifting. We want a hydraulic handbrake now. Right, next we need to find the brake lines. So we're locating the brake lines and a suitable point to tap into to install the hydraulic handbrake. That is going to give us more control to enter into a drift and also sometimes maintain a drift or carry on sliding. There's lots of different techniques in which you can use the hydraulic handbrake, and we definitely want one for our drift car. Now this taps into the hydraulic system, okay? Unlike most handbrakes, they actually guys are still working on the cars. Most handbrakes are mechanical, and legally they have to be on a completely separate system. Right, it's too noisy out there because they're too busy working. How dare they? So I'm going to explain it in here. This is the hydraulic handbrake. Most vehicles, physical handbrake, if you don't have an electronic one, they are on a completely separate system, a mechanical system rather than a hydraulic system like your foot brake. And that reason for that is basically they're not only a park brake, they're also an emergency brake. So if your hydraulic system fails and you've got no brake pedal, then there's a real good chance that your handbrake will still work to slow the car down in the event of an emergency. So it's not just a park brake, it's an emergency brake. I think in America land they call it an e-brake. Correct me if I'm wrong with that. But this goes into the hydraulic lines. This is why they don't fit hydraulic handbrakes from factory, because effectively it's on the same system as the foot brake, so you've got no emergency backup. You see what I mean? But on these cars we're still going to have the electronic park brake, which can act as an emergency brake as well. So if you've got an electronic park brake and you lose your foot pedal, you may not know in an emergency you can actually pull the switch. The car may beep at you a few times or take a second to react or so, but it will then apply the park brake and actually slow the car down. So we're going to retain that, but it's no good for drifting. We're going to be fitting this bad boy, a nice long lever. I think it looks wow cool in the car. Nice and close to the steering wheel, so your steering wheel's right next to it, and you just move your hand slightly, grab this, bang, lock up them back wheels into hopefully a nice controlled drift. Now because this is hydraulic, we've got to locate the hydraulic brake lines, and then we've got to plumb into it basically. So I've got some universal brake pipe here which we're going to neatly bend from somewhere under the car into the cab to that hydraulic handbrake. Lots of connections and stuff that come with it in there, and these T-pieces as well. I don't know if I can explain right, but there's two kind of separate hydraulic lines that split right after the foot pedal, again for safety purposes, and they go to opposite corners of the car. So we kind of need to tap into two hydraulic systems, one for each rear wheel, right? Hence why I need these T-pieces and stuff like that. But anyway, now it involves getting the cover off the bottom of the car to expose the brake pipes and finding them. We've also got to find a suitable place for this hydraulic handbrake lever in the car, and probably have to strip some of the interior out so we can get the pipe work in. But we are going to be stripping a lot of this interior anyway to make the car as light as possible, because it's going to be easier to throw it around. Anyway, let's check if they're still working. It's gone quiet. Right, well, I've got to find a place for this bad boy. Well, I want it quite close to the steering wheel, but unfortunately I think it's going to have to live in here. But I don't really want to butcher this centre console, because I don't know if I'm being a bit sad here or sentimental over something that we're just going to fly around a track in, but I actually really like this centre console. The whole layout, the leather stitching, the wood kind of suits it as well, and I don't really want to butcher this, but I'll see what I can do. Right, I might end up just cutting a section out, which would be a shame. But I'm wondering if I can be really clever with it. If I can take this apart, sink this down, and then this will just pop out where the ashtray is. I'll have to remove that bit, I guess, but that would be cool. I don't know how much room I've got under there, but I'm going to strip this out now, see if it'll go there. Then I've got to mount it and run the hydraulic brake pipes from outside the car through the floor into one of these and out the other side. I can't remember which way around it goes. I think that's the in and that's the out, I think. And yeah, baby. Right, next, if we want this thing to drift, we've got to do something with this. This is the rear differential. Now, there's a few different ways of doing this. So we can have an open diff like this, but trouble is it's going to spin one wheel at a time, the wheel with the least grip. We want both rear wheels to slip to be able to make the back end come round into a drift, right? So the second option is a limited slip differential, which you may have heard of. So they spin one wheel at a time, apart from when you really floor the throttle, and then it will spin both wheels. But they're quite expensive. Not sure they do one for these cars. You'd have to put an aftermarket kit in it, which is a lot of money. We're probably going to spend more than the car on the car, and then we could like crash it on the track or something. So not a great idea. So what we're going to do is the cheap way. We're going to take this apart, weld it up solid, and put it back together again. It's actually quite popular to do on cars that are designated for drifting only, so that's what we're going to do. Right, the guys are just stripping the differentials out of the cars. We're hoping to be able to drop them down and weld them in situ, but looks like we haven't got the room to do that, so they're basically coming out. There's a prop shaft removed, and then unfortunately we still haven't got enough room to get the rear of the diff off, take that rear casing off to work inside it. So we're going to have to drop it down by removing at least one drive shaft and then pulling the diff sideways to remove it from the other drive shaft, which means we've got to get the drive shaft out the hub, wheel off, and all the suspension arms apart, and they do like to seize up on these, so we're just teaming up on that one at the moment to get it apart. I know the drive shafts tend to seize in the hub here, so good luck on doing that. So they've developed another technique. It looks a bit tight, but they're on it. It's coming up. I mean, it didn't look easy to get out. You've got to get it in again, yeah? How's that going to work?
We fought the same when we got it out.
Exhaust off. No, I don't want to snag the seals, do we? Because it will leak and then we'll be screwed. But hey, diff out, cool. So now we can take the casing off the back, clean it all up, weld it, and put it all back in again with some new oil. Right, we've got the rear casing off that and the diff just dripping its oil for a bit into this tub to get the most of the oil out, and then we can give it a good old clean and dry, and then we can weld it. We can't weld it when it's soaked in oil. You making a cocktail?
Yeah.
Can I have mine with a little umbrella inside?
Yeah, of course you can. Like a bit of pineapple on the side.
Yeah, you got some pineapple. So Lammy's just cleaning up the diff, ready for welding, because it's not going to weld very well covered in oil.
Nope.
That's not a bit. Yeah, it's not a small task in itself, but hey, let's do it once, do it properly, and hope it lasts.
All good fun.
All good in the hood. Sniff my diff. Paul and Pryor doing the rads. Wow, Paul is. You just here to make things look slightly more ugly. Yeah. No comebacks. No comebacks from Bodgkins. I think he's upset. You?
A little bit.
You're gonna cry. Cry with laughter. That's what we want. Time to weld the differentials. Really oily, so it's taking a lot of cleaning. We can't get them spotlessly clean and dry unless maybe we put it in the dishwasher, and then she wouldn't like me very much. The bit we want to weld is these 4 gears here. Basically, these 4 gears are the mechanism that allows one wheel to spin quicker than the other side to allow it to drive smoothly around corners. But we don't want it to do that anymore. We want it to kick the back end out around corners. So we're going to weld this section up, and to get a good weld, they want their welder set pretty high, holding the trigger down to get some good heat and penetration in there and get this as clean as possible. So we've scrubbed it with cleaner and we've airlined it off, and then I've even tried to like burn any oil residue off, and then gone in there with a rag and a screwdriver, and even then it's not spotless, but we'll just prep it the best we can within reason, I think, and then we'll go ahead and weld it. Quiet, you lot still working? You done that little job yet?
Going to the pub.
Going to the pub. Never heard of such a place. Is it good? Is it like Disney World for adults?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, I think I might know the one actually. So the guys have been working hard and getting the differential back in. Now we've welded it up, resealed it. Now, shortly, it's time to refill it full of oil at that point there. And then we will have a solid diff, or locked up diff, meaning basically each wheel will turn at the same speed no matter what, even if you're going around a corner, and that will encourage it to slide and be more controllable to drift. So for a bit of cheap noise, we're thinking of just leaving the rear boxes off this. For one, we want to make the back end as light as possible, and they're just 2 big slabs of metal right at the back of the car. Also, if we remove them, we'll get some more noise, especially on this one, the V8. And I'm really entertaining how these come out here, go almost sideways. They're absolutely gagging to end up here with a side exit on each side, I reckon. Because, well, why not, right? What do you reckon, Bodge?
Yeah, send it.
Send it. Mend it and bend it, or bend it and mend it.
Just do whatever you
Just
want.
send it and see what happens.
Yeah, you got it.
So left to do, we've got to finish stripping the blue one, and then that's ready for a little practice to see if it drifts. The red one, we're going to go a little bit more on that. We've got to strip that, and it needs front and rear brake pads. We've got a sticky front left brake caliper to deal with, and we're going to go a bit more because we've got the hydraulic handbrake to install. We may go a little bit lower, we may go a little bit wider with the geometry, and I want to play with the steering geometry to see if we can get faster responding steering and more steering lock. Got a couple of ideas. Let's see if I can execute them. There's the blue one complete. Let's see, is it any better? Let's make some smoke. Oh yes, much better. And that's not all. Check this out. Hope you like donuts. Well guys, hope you enjoyed the vid. These cars are now drift ready. Stay tuned. Next week is going to be episode 3 or chapter 3, whatever you want to call it, where we actually take these things on track drifting. We got loads of us there. There's like 8 of us all drifting. What a day. I hope you'll join us. See you next Wednesday around midday. I'm Dud, Wraptor Customs.